Watch and burn.
Hey everyone. So today I want to discuss one of the best records I've ever heard in my entire life, and that is Black Flag's Slip It In, which has like the most hardcore cover art that you could ever hope to come across when you're a kid in a record store. It's like when I saw the cover of this record, I remember when I was a little kid and I used to be out with my parents, and if memory serves, I was buying Duran Duran's Seven and the Ragged Tiger. And I would go on to be pretty ultimately disappointed with that record. But nonetheless, I remember I was buying it and we were in Toronto somewhere. And I don't know, maybe we were at Sam the Record Man, the big one. I think we might have been at Sam the Record Man. This would have been long before the days of HMV. And so it was, yeah, it would have been Sam's most likely because I remember the place was huge. Anyways, and I was buying Seven and the Ragged Tiger and this record was there, you know? Like, I mean, I think if memory serves, it was really like, I remember thinking to myself, like, Jesus. I'm like, look at that fucking cover. And then you got their logo on there, and the name of the band is Black Flag, and it just says, they're too mature for you. I'm, of course, like, I don't know, 8 or whatever. And it's like, dude, is that a nun? I, oh my God. Like, I was like, I didn't even want to look at it because if I looked at it, I was like concerned that I was going to get in trouble because I was too young. And it was so hardcore. And of course, you'd have to fast forward a number of years to where I would pick this up. And I fucking love this record, except for Rat's Eyes. I fucking hate that song so much. Rat's Eyes, Rat's Eyes, Rat's Eyes. Need a reason to kill yourself? What I suggest you do, need a reason to kill yourself, is just loop up Rat's Eyes by Black Flag and Me and My Old Lady by The Offspring. Hook 'em and play 'em endlessly. Death will soon follow. I can fucking promise you that. The second Rat's Eyes comes on, it's like this full body cringe. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this so much. And that's it. Obliteration. This just total and complete obliteration. And then it's kind of like, it's funny because it doesn't really hit you the first time, but when I'm like, oh, that's it, fuck this. And I'm like, I remember I said to myself, obliterate. And it was like, that's the next song. Obliteration is the track that follows Rat's Eyes. So that's kind of clever, I guess. But yeah, I slip it in the title track. This is like, oh God, Black Flag, Jesus Christ, when they were amazing, they were perfect. Somehow Black Flag has always managed to make long songs really slow and fucking painful, as in the complete side B or the last 3 tracks from My War. But then at other points, they could take long songs like Slip It In that has a focus on a guitar solo that's sort of ever present throughout the entire run of this song, sort of, and they make it work. And I love that song. I love how, I mean, I knew chicks like that in high school, so I think everybody did. And I mean, really though, girls always sort of get the short end of that. Like women are always whores and men are the studs fucking all the broads. I mean, I knew a lot of guys that were whores too, and like they were disgusting. Like, yeah, the chicks would sleep around, but the fucking guys' dicks would be dissolving. And it's like, but somehow the guys were cool and the chicks weren't, and it just never made sense to me. But nonetheless, I think most people can relate because we all know somebody who has a sort of loose morals as far as whether or not how quickly they'll spread their legs. So Slip It In rings really true. And the only thing I don't really get about the title track is how it ends with the guy kind of yelling, like, did she cut his dick off or some shit? Because I really don't know. What else is on here? Rat's Eyes. The Bars is on here. My Ghetto, You're Not Evil. Black Coffee. Yep, Black Coffee. Yeah, Black Coffee is actually, I think, the second track off here, if memory serves. This record is flawless, except for Rat's Eyes. I fucking hate that song. This record is perfect. The tone, the lyrics, the attitude, the very traditional atonal guitar sound that fucking Black Flag just tears up so perfectly. Their music, it's so honestly angry and so raw, and it sounds so tattered and so torn and yet so precise. I don't know, Black Flag, they existed in this world where only Black Flag could exist. Like, there was no other band like them. There were great hardcore and post-hardcore bands that would be accompanying Black Flag. Like, they'd be playing with them and around them and whatnot, but there was no other band like Black Flag. You know? I can think of a few bands from back then that don't ever, you can't really copy them. People have, of course, but the Misfits, no one sounds like the Misfits. And I mean, since then, a lot of people have tried to sound like the Misfits. Black Flag, nobody sounds like Black Flag. People have tried, but they mostly just fail. Off does a really good job, but that almost doesn't count because it's fucking what's his name from the Circle Jerks and Black Flag. So Keith Morris there, it's kind of Black Flag-ish. And I would say Dead Kennedys. Nobody ever sounded like them. And the Kennedys sound I found was more inviting, and it was more melodic, and it was catchier and a lot more bouncy. But Black Flag just straight up said, fuck off, go away. Unless you're one of us, like, we're gonna fucking steamroll over you. And this record is a perfect example of how Black Flag's powerful songwriting, and not to mention that they're incredibly, like, talented performers as far as their live performance aspects are concerned. They were gonna come out with, like, the record this strong, how could they not dominate? And I would argue that pretty much everything after this, like, Family Man was a bit of an odd one because it was cool because I'd always wanted to hear Black Flag in an instrumental sense, so you get that. But then the spoken word tracks always kind of threw me off. Like, it was like I'm paying full price for an EP. Loose Nut is amazing. Fucking In My Head is awesome. So the only real misstep I would say would be My War. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about fucking Jesus. We're talking about Slip It In, which is one of the most dominating records of my entire life. And I just can't get sick of any of the songs on here. And believe me, it would have happened by now because it's been like 3 decades. So, yeah. I rambled way too long about this one. I'm trying to keep these shorter, and I straight up fucked up there because it's 7 minutes. So thank you so much for hanging out with me while I discussed Black Flag's absolutely essential and killer Slip It In. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody, but most importantly, don't forget that the world is a better place because you are in it, and I'm not just saying that. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.